Hey, it's Paul. Welcome back to B&B Talk. I think we'll call this episode The Dust Settling, because that's exactly what happens. We see Maya, and she's not taking any of Rick's calls, and eventually Nicole shows up, and they go over the events. You know, obviously Maya thinks that Rick hung up, and he doesn't want anything to do with her because he's too embarrassed. He loves her, but he's too embarrassed. And she says that his calls and his texts won't change anything, but Nicole urges her to fight for him the same way she fought, you know, to come out as transgender. But Maya says he's better off without me. She's clearly falling on the sword, and you know, Nicole blames herself for this. Now this is very Shakespearean. I'm seeing shades of Romeo and Juliet. You know, she definitely wants to fall on a sword. There's a lot of miscommunication. Speaking of that, we see Eric and Ridge. They're dealing with the fallout. Ridge is on the phone dealing with this PR nightmare, and he says to Eric, "Where's Ricky?" You know, and he starts making fun of him, saying he's got to hide behind his mommy and whatnot. But Eric's standing behind him. Ridge tells Eric that Rick attacked him when he came by. Ridge is making a case because he says he shouldn't run the company. Remember when he pulled the gun, he's clearly a loose cannon and a time bomb. He's got to go. And he's saying to Eric, you've got to make him go. But Eric is saying that, you know, you've got to cut him a break after what he's been through. But then Ridge tells Eric that Maya quit. And that right away, Eric knows that that's why Ridge went in and rubbed it in his face. And he doesn't like this. But eventually Ridge says, you know, you got to look at the contract. There's got to be a morality clause or something about his behavior. The most Eric will say is that he is going to talk to Rick. And that's where we leave it with them. Then we go to see Brooke and Rick. And, you know, Brooke is still making a case for him not to chase after her. But Rick tells her that, you know, Ridge was talking trash about her, and that's why he attacked him. And, you know, Rick keeps defending her, and Brooke is saying that, you know, she's done enough damage and you've just got to take some time away from her. But Rick says that, you know, he's insistent that she didn't deceive him. But Brooke reminds him that he can't have kids with her, and her behavior's been totally questionable. But Rick's not backing down. He says that eventually he tells her that he found the estrogen pills. Brooke says this is making a case for the fact that she's deceitful, but Rick doesn't see it this way. And in fact, he tells his mom that she doesn't have a clue of what's going on. And you know, he knows how hard it was for Maya to live with this secret. You know, and they go back and forth. And Brooke says, "Father and I don't have a problem with the fact that she's transgender. She's got a problem with the fact that she's very calculating." She says she waited until you were hopelessly in love with her until she let you know this. But Rick says that you don't know what you're talking about, and eventually Brooke leaves, and then we see a montage of all the times they've gone through. And you know, we see Maya looking out a window and she sees the other half of the montage. We've seen this all before. And then, you know, Rick's got tears in his eyes, and that's where we leave it. And you know, it's a really interesting episode, and it just, you know, someone pointed out to me that, you know, Maya doesn't deserve this. She was this kind of a character before, and so was Rick. And you know, my point was, if you look at every one of these characters, if you look at Steffi, if you look at Liam, if you look at Wyatt, in fact, it's a credit to the writing on this show that every one of these characters has a duality. I'm telling you, there's times where I've hated Ridge, I've hated Eric, I've hated every one of these characters, and then you turn around and you love them because the writers know how to, you know, give these characters the edge. I said, in fact, the only characters that weren't really bad were, you know, Charlie and Pam. And it's a credit to the show. So that's all she wrote for this episode. I want to thank you all for checking it out. Come back, there's lots more to figure out. And don't forget, subscribe and follow us on social media. It's Paul, it's B&B Talk. Have a great day.